Okay, so let's try and unpack this. We all live, well, immersed in this constant stream of feeling, right?
Every single day. Joy, anticipation, stress.
Exactly. And we experience these emotions constantly, yet when it comes time to, you know, actually articulate them, to put them into words,
We often stumble. It's a universal struggle, really.
it is. And that's why this particular deep dive is so interesting. The source material you brought to us, it's it's deceptively simple.
It is. It's derived from foundational notes for simple English conversation practice, specifically about how to talk about your feelings.
I think the simplicity is actually the genius here. It just strips everything back to the building blocks.
Hmm.
We're not trying to become psychoanalysts. We
No.
just want clarity and confidence. So what's our mission today with this?
Our mission is to basically pull apart this material and find the foundational rules, the nuts and bolts of how we express emotion, so that you, the listener, can get that structure you need to say what you mean.
Whether it's just a simple conversation or something deeper.
Ex-
And speaking of foundational rules, there is one thing that just leaps off the page immediately.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
It has to be the difference between describing a temporary state and a personality trait.
Yes, getting this right is absolutely crucial to sounding natural. The sources make a critical distinction between using the verb feel and the verb am.
Okay, so let's use the classic example, happiness. If I just finished a big project, I would say, I feel happy.
Right. It's tied to that moment. It's a temporary experience.
But if I were to say, I am a happy person,
That's a whole different thing. That's a statement about your baseline character, your disposition.
and the implication of that is just massive, isn't it?
Yeah.
It means you can be a generally cheerful person who, right now, feels incredibly disappointed.
And one doesn't cancel out the other. It's like
Yeah.
the difference between saying I have a cold and I am ill.
Mm.
One is temporary.
That's a great analogy. It's about giving yourself emotional complexity through language. Okay, so with that framework, let's jump into the deep dive and start mapping these feelings.
Let's do it.
We can start with the simple positive states. Let's talk about the triggers for happy.
What's remarkable here is that the sources focus on really simple, tangible things. It's not about abstract ideas.
No, it was things like good weather, sunshine.
Eating a favorite meal, finishing work a little bit early, spending time with family.
I love that they included relaxing in a clean home.
Me too, because it's so immediate and achievable. It suggests that happiness, in this context, is something actionable.
Mm-hmm. And from there, we naturally move to the opposite pole, sadness.
Right. And if happiness comes from those moments of comfort, the triggers for sadness often relate to absence or loss,
So the sources mention things like, gloomy weather that goes on for days.
or that deeper feeling of saying goodbye to loved ones after a visit.
But there's a really powerful insight here, isn't there? The way sadness is framed.
Yes, this is what elevates it beyond just the definition. The notes explicitly say sadness is a normal emotion. It shows that you care.
That's such an important reframe. It's not a failure to feel sad, it's data. It's proof you are engaged with life.
Exactly. Speaking of data, let's talk about the signals from our physical selves, the body-related feelings.
Okay, so this is about communicating immediate basic needs.
Crucial needs. We're talking tired, hungry, thirsty.
And the sources are pretty specific about the causes for tired, right? It wasn't just exercise.
No, it was lack of sleep, hard work, or, and I love this phrasing, moving around a lot.
Which is so relatable. It's about the fatigue of a busy day, running errands, not necessarily training for a marathon.
It makes it accessible. And for hungry and thirsty, the sources use those little descriptive adjectives to show scale.
Right. It's not just I'm hungry, it's I'm very hungry or
I'm a little thirsty. That intensifier is so useful, it communicates the urgency of the need instantly.
So we have our internal states, our physical needs. Now let's move into some of the more high energy emotions, the ones that look towards the future.
Ah, yes. Excited and nervous. The energy duo.
They really are. They often show up together.
They do. So the sources define excited as feeling extremely joyful about something that is going to happen soon.
That anticipatory joy, planning a holiday, waiting for a birthday.
Exactly. And nervous is the mirror image. It's that same forward-looking energy, but it's mixed with worry or uncertainty.
Like right before you have to give a presentation.
Or starting a new job. And what's key here, as you said, is how often they coexist. You can be so excited for the new job, but also nervous about performing well.
Yeah, that's real life, isn't it? Acknowledging that two opposing feelings can happen at once is a huge step.
It's emotional sophistication, even with simple words.
Okay, so from that nervous energy, let's look at a strong negative energy. anger. And maybe its precursor, annoyance.
Annoyance is a great place to start. The sources hit on some universally relatable triggers for it.
Like being stuck in traffic.
Or running late. Or that feeling when you just cannot find your phone. It's about an external event creating an internal feeling of losing control.
And this is where the notes shift from just defining to, well, managing. They offer coping mechanisms.
Taking deep breaths or counting slowly.
And the psychology behind that is just brilliant in its simplicity, isn't it?
It is. They're cognitive interruptions. They force your mind to stop focusing on the external problem, the traffic, the missing phone, and focus inward on a rhythm.
It creates a pause. It stops annoyance from escalating into full-blown anger.
It puts you back in charge of the feeling instead of the other way around.
Such a practical takeaway. Okay, what about the emotion that interrupts everything? Surprise.
Surprise is interesting because it's defined as that instant reaction to the unexpected. But the feeling itself is neutral.
Oh, that's a great point. The value comes from the trigger.
Exactly. An unexpected gift is a pleasant surprise.
But discovering a spider on the wall is definitely not.
Right. The surprise is the sharp intake of breath. The emotion that follows is either joy or maybe fear.
Which is a perfect transition. Let's talk about fear. This one feels like the most primal physiological state in the sources.
It is. The triggers are classic. Watching a horror movie, hearing a strange noise late at night.
And the notes describe that physical reaction so well. Your heart beats faster, you feel more alert.
It's the body's alarm system. It's just screaming, be careful, pay attention.
A pure survival mechanism. And again, the material smartly pivots right to the antidote. The contrast to fear is
relaxation.
A calm, peaceful state.
And the sources emphasize that this is often an active choice. It's not just the absence of stress, it's something you create.
What were some of the activities they mentioned?
Things like reading a book, taking a warm shower, just having a slow morning.
All very sensory, low-demand activities.
It shows that managing your feelings isn't passive. You have to intentionally create these moments of peace.
So we've covered the basics, the intense reactions. Let's shift now to the complexities of modern life. Stress and boredom.
The twin pressures. They're both really about our relationship with time and engagement. Stress is defined as having too much to do in too little time.
That feeling of resource scarcity. And the solutions offered are so practical.
They are. Make a to-do list. Break big tasks into small steps.
It reframes the problem. You solve stress with planning, not just by feeling less stressed.
Exactly. And boredom is the inverse problem. It's what happens when there's a lack of stimulation or challenge.
And the solutions are all about active re-engagement, right? Not just waiting around.
Right. Things like cleaning, listening to music, or calling a friend, all of them require you to get out of your own head and do something.
That sense of agency is so empowering. Okay, so how do we use this vocabulary with other people? Let's talk about empathy and shared joy.
The source material keeps it very direct. For empathy, when a friend is upset, the phrase is, I feel sorry for you. It's a simple, direct acknowledgement of their pain.
And on the flip side, shared joy. Being genuinely happy for someone else's success.
Which is such a cornerstone of a healthy relationship.
And that leads us to an internal feeling of achievement, pride.
Pride is defined as that warm, positive feeling you get after you've completed something difficult. It's the payoff for all that effort.
It's the reward for pushing through the stress.
Exactly.
Now, we've built this amazing toolkit of single emotions, but the sources are wise enough to know that's not how life works. They talk about mixed feelings.
Yes, and this is where the simple framework really shows its power. The notes state clearly that it's normal to feel many things at once.
They gave those perfect examples like tired but happy.
Tired from the work but happy with the result. Or the one we already mentioned, nervous but excited. It captures the complexity of starting something new.
It shows that clarity doesn't mean simplifying reality. It means having the words to describe its layers.
And to do that, we need to expand our vocabulary just a little bit more. The sources included a few other really useful words.
What were some of those final essential pieces?
Well, there was confused for when something is hard to understand, impatient for when waiting is difficult, disappointed when your hopes aren't met.
All very specific, very useful states.
They also added more detailed physical words like energetic and exhausted, which are more descriptive than just tired. And of course, the critical social feeling of lonely.
Wow. So this deep dive, which started with the simplest material, has given us this incredible map of emotional literacy. Circling back, what's the main takeaway for our listener?
I think the main takeaway is that by practicing this vocabulary, and especially that core distinction between I feel and I am, you gain so much power. You communicate more clearly to others, sure, but you also understand yourself so much better.
It makes talking about your day more confident and, well, more accurate.
It does. Practice is everything. The act of just labeling an emotion is the most powerful first step toward managing it.
It takes it from being this vague storm inside you to a defined concept you can actually look at.
That's it, exactly.
So as you all think about integrating this vocabulary into your own lives, let's leave you with a final thought, one that builds on that idea of mixed feelings.
We talked about how common it is to feel tired but happy, or nervous but excited. If our most basic vocabulary already needs to combine feelings to describe a single moment, what does that tell you about the true, layered complexity of your own daily life? Maybe take a moment to be aware of the multiple, even contradictory emotions you might be experiencing right now.